Good morning, everybody. Story time. Real life talk. People who have God versus people who lack God. No names will be mentioned. A lot of the details will be changed, but rest assured, these are real people with real stories. So I was standing outside a church the other day. I don't go to church, but these people do. And as they were pouring out, all masked up, deathly afraid of one another, I mentioned to the shopkeeper that was there, I was talking with, that these people may be religious, but they don't have God. They think they're participating in some kind of a ritual that is godly and uniting them, making them stronger as a unit, as a cohesive society, when in reality, they're again deathly afraid of one another, deathly afraid of worldly things that cannot be justified, but this is what they believe. Without questioning, without proof, without anything, they simply believe it because the real God that they worship, right? Worldly authority told them to. Not a single case of anything around here. These people are deathly afraid of one another. Okay? They lack God. Long story short, just because you're religious doesn't mean you have God, right? And a lot of these people participate in religion, but they don't actively engage with their faith, right? They don't question what God is, what that means, whether or not they have that or if they actually rejected it. They're just going through the motions, reciting mantras like a bunch of sheep, thinking about what it is they're going to feed their cows in the morning or what they themselves will eat for dinner that night. So when I hear these debates and people are talking about religion doing evil things, yeah, no problem. What I'm interested in is whether or not that was a godly thing to do. But that's a big part of why I reject religion, because that doesn't mean, just because you practice something, it doesn't mean that it's God or of God, okay? So that's that. But rest assured, most, if not all of us, are religious. Not all of us have God, right? This includes the atheists, the agnostics. At any rate, I was conducting some business with an acquaintance the other day. It must have been around Easter, I think. And he was trying to figure out when society was going to be shut down because of, a religious holiday, whatnot. And literally, verbatim, his question to me was, when do they string up this bastard? Is it Thursday or is it Friday? Right? Trying to figure out if he's going to be able to do commerce. Not only is that not what Easter is about, or is it? Obviously, he wasn't strung up. I guess in secular terms, he was a bastard, but that's not quite right either, is it? So not only was this person completely belligerent, right? Super offensive, arrogant, ignorant. And this is the thing, right? Real life atheists, they don't fuck around, okay? They tell you what's up and how they feel. It's when they get into these debates and they have to take a pragmatic stance because they cannot prove a negative, right? That's when they're not being honest. Now, again, I can't prove that, but this is pretty self-evident. Not to say that there aren't some atheists who are really truly just agnostic and they're philosophically inclined and they are interested in the truth. There are those few and far between. And I respect those people. But we all know what the true atheist thinks of religion. Because in real life, they always let us know. They make it known. They're just like vegans. They put that out there. Because they are convinced of the things that they are convinced of. Now, if atheism, at least in these debates, cannot be honest, which is pretty self-evident, I think we would agree, can atheism be true? At any rate, after he said that, I just started laughing out loud and walked off. So this guy believes in polyamory, right? He thinks that just because a woman with whom he has a child acquiesces to something like that, that it's the right thing to do, the correct thing to do, that she's somehow accepting or in favor of it, right? When she's merely acquiescing for probably pragmatic reasons. So he had a child with this woman and was parading around town with a bunch of other holes he liked to dip his stick into because, no offense, but that's who these people are to him, in my opinion. And when I saw that, I knew he was going to get burnt. It was so obvious that he didn't understand women. He didn't understand himself. And he just had no clue on how to be. And as soon as I saw that, I was just like, damn. The pain, right, of that woman, like the things she must be going through. They participate in the same, in, the community and various functions in that community, right? Separately, but both of them do on occasion. So everybody saw everything. And you could just tell she was mad, she was angry, she was unhappy. And I could see that taken out on their child. There was no love there, in my opinion. And maybe that's a little harsh, but because I'm sure she loves her child, but it wasn't shown. So she packed up her shit and left. Got with somebody else. And I'm talking to him the other day, and he's saying, the bitch, blah, 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 did this, this, and that, and got with blah, blah, blah. How fucking clueless can you be? So now he had to abandon his at least a decade-long permaculture project, and, all that shit's just took a couple of shots to the head and is going to probably die and rot, right? He was taken out of nature and something good because he rejected his own nature. And now he's going to live in a city and he has no fucking clue what he's going to do there, right? Probably sell drugs. But, you keep brainwashing these people, telling them that they are apes because evolution, and of course they're going to start acting like a bunch of fucking monkeys. You know what I mean? Let me take a sip of my coffee. So, there's another lady, anytime you mention religion to her, she literally gets angry, right? They participate in various social media groups, and when religion comes up, like, they leave. And then they come back a few days later, right? They get triggered. Anytime anybody blesses them or throws a blessing out there or says in the name of Jesus or, something along those lines, they fucking get triggered and let everybody know not to include them in any of that, right? How dare you bless me? Basically. got together with some ugly motherfucker thinking he was beautiful, and I'm not really talking about physical appearance, even though the rotten inside does kind of come out, at least to me. That's how I judge people. Scumbag. Loves to impregnate blonde ladies, because, whatever. So, Bob Marley over there, wanna be Bob Marley. Not dark enough, in my opinion. But Bob Marley over there is just a maggot running around dipping his stick into everything that will let him. And the ones that do, I mean, clearly they lack God. Inseminating, leaving offspring all over the place, right? But this woman thinks she's one of the victims. She thinks she could have a family with this maggot, right? Completely irrational. So it's from makeups to breakups, right? Basically, the guy can't even like make eye contact. He'll never say hi. He's always mad about everything. She's cool, but so lost. And again, has this aversion to God, right? Because she figured it all out. She knows what's up. She got it going on, right? Engaged in some kind of weird fucking new age parenting. Turn her baby into a little girl that cries all the fucking time, basically. Then there's another couple that they have a homestead and animals, but won't eat them. Anytime you mention religion, it's the same story, rolling their eyes. Her anyway. Blood sugar all over the goddamn fucking place. From happy, calm to angry, erratic, stressed the fuck out, to blank stare in her eyes if you start talking about something deep. Sometimes literally soulless, in my opinion. Right? He got the right idea. He wants to eat those animals, but the feminine has taken over, man. He won't put his foot down and whack one or two of the male goats. I mean, how many do you fucking need, right? Sink your teeth into that flesh, eat it. This is who you are. Struggling to figure the most basic shit out, right? Unreasonable. Raising animals, won't eat them. Spending so much time and effort and money on these animals, won't eat them. But mention religion, mention God. And you might as well be a racist, basically. Brainwashed with these countercultural political left ideals, right? Yet trying to have a homestead. I mean, talk about contradictions, right? Not knowing oneself. But they're good people, and I have faith they will find their way. Might take a while. Clearly, the whole wannabe vegan can only muster being vegetarian thing. Well, that ain't working out. But I think they're starting to see the light. Then there's another woman I know, and I could go on probably for an hour telling you these stories. Real life examples. Had a baby with some dude, but he ended up having a baby with another lady that looks just like her. Just, you know, the kid is, oh my God, just terrible, 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 terrible. He's a boy, but I mean, he might as well be a girl. Screaming, crying, because that's what mama does, right? Looking for a place to settle. Here, it's all wrong here. This doesn't suit me. I don't like it here. This isn't, just moving from place to place to place, looking for something, trying to find herself. Can't do it. Went from nature back to the city. Had a kid with another man that's no longer with her anymore. Right? 2 kids, all by herself. Those men having kids with other women now. Right? You tell these people they're fucking monkeys, they're gonna start acting like monkeys. Then there's another couple, right? You mention God, fucking teeth and claws come out, yeah? True atheists, honest atheists. Had a baby and they're holding it down, but I mean, I have an inkling that he actually does have God, or kind of. I mean, because he was their slave and building a house for them, right? And then, for whatever reason, they had to go. The land wasn't theirs, blah, 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 right? Built another house somewhere else, all by himself. All by his fucking self. Worn out, beat down, you know, exhausted all the damn time. Good guy. Had to go. Wasn't their land. So now they went from nature to the city. What do? Now they sell drugs. Not anything illegal, but drugs nonetheless. Completely unable to find their place in this world, right? Looking, not able to find it. Unable to settle down, grow roots, establish themselves, right? Deciding, making bad decisions. Really, really bad decisions, right? They lack God. All of these people stumbling through life, not knowing what they're doing, not understanding their own nature, one gender, sex, not understanding the other, right? Sometimes the feminine taking over the men, where they won't even put their foot down and say, this is it. All these cases. This is what we're doing, and that's that. And then on the other hand, not knowing themselves, right? Thinking that there's some kind of an herbivorous ape, basically. All of this is intertwined and connected. I don't know how people can't see this. Because, look, if you fall for this nonsense of evolution, if you fall for this nonsense of atheism, right, there are a lot of entailments there. It's not just the lack of belief. It's a whole entire worldview that entails a whole bunch of different things. Forget what they say, look at what they do and how they act. So on the other hand, we got these couples holding it down, right? Now, some of them were vegan. I'm going to just generalize these people because there's a clear pattern there. Quite a few of them used to be vegan, and the reason you knew that is because they professed that, they proselytized that, right? They stopped eating meat and now they proselytize God. Now, I'm not saying they weren't religious before, but clearly they found God. They eat meat. They realized they were wrong. They realized the evil of their ways. And for some of them, it took getting sick, losing their minds, basically. But now they're on the right path, and instead of telling everybody they're vegan, God is on their lips, right? They're starting to know themselves, understand themselves. They understand nature and their place in it. They're holding it down as a nuclear family, having more kids, some of them. When the crisis struck and people in the local community started losing their jobs, it was those people who were on the front lines donating food to the needy, right? Supporting each other. Putting God out there, saying, this too shall pass. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be a good person and have your shit together as an atheist. I'm not saying that at all. Just as you could profess to be religious and be religious, we all are. But you could believe in God or say that you do, and yet still lack reason and just be a piece of shit. I'm not saying that it's necessary that you profess the belief in God to be and that has to go hand in hand with being a good person. I don't think you have to do that, right? Just as there are these so-called religious people or people who profess to believe in God and they're complete and utter pieces of shit. Okay? I realize that. That's why I don't care much for religion or rituals or any sort of church authority. I don't care much for that stuff. If it works for you, that's great. If you find community in that and like-minded people and all that other stuff, great. So when I hear all these debates where atheists just want to pin all these evils on various churches, yeah, that's history, right? That doesn't mean that these churches were godly, that these institutions, political organizations had God. That's not what that means. And again, I'm not saying that you have to profess to have God in order to be a good person, but at the same time, I see a clear correlation between people who put that out there, that they have God, and people who outwardly reject God and let everybody know that they do. I see a clear pattern of behavior. And it's easy for me to see. This helps me realize what God is, right? Listening to atheists put their foot in their mouth over and over, be completely incoherent, unable to communicate, understand what's being said to them, right? Atheists in real life not knowing themselves, not knowing their own nature, who they are, not understanding their mates or spouses, their children. That's what helps me understand what God is, what God provides. Again, reason, logic, knowledge, all those things. Truth. If you grasp truth and speak it, how can you ever be wrong? If you grasp truth, speak it and live it, how can you ever be wrong? And if you cannot be wrong, how can you be bad? You let me know. Thanks for watching.